Hello, welcome back to episode 28 of Mercy and the Manz podcast, where we talk about music, lifestyle, gigging together, all that good stuff. And it's a labor of love. And I drag this man's into it every other week, pretty much. We're off to the race. I don't know what I'm doing either. Let's be lost, we'll be lost together. I don't know what I'm doing either. Let's be lost, we'll be lost. I'm going to try to keep it tight. I even got a timer going in the background. I've got notes. This is the first time I feel somewhat organized, but it never fails. Something goes wrong. Last week, if you were watching our episode, I lost the camera feed on Kyle, and I just put still photos, and I added a lot of other stuff to the episode to try to make it not look silly and just be on me.
We learned some very valuable lessons about what happens if a phone call comes through when you're recording. So,
yes. Anyway, so we have been off to the races this summer, and I wanted to debrief, and we're only keeping it to, I put 15 minutes. I said 10.
Debrief, I guess, is part of it. I'm wearing my Huey Lewis in the News hat that my dear friend Danny Blau made for me. He told me he was making one, but I thought he was just making one for himself. So he surprised me with a very cool hat. We're probably the only two people on Earth that are walking around with the Huey Lewis in the News hats, but Huey Lewis in the News rules.
That's been his new hobby. So Danny is our guitar player.
Yes.
And he has been making custom hats of our favorite artists, and he made one of Genesis.
Yes, and he's probably the only person on Earth with a Genesis hat as well. So
with a cut bill.
Yeah.
He does the cut bill thing.
Yeah.
He left your bill alone.
Yeah, I don't cut my bills. Only bills I cut are the bills that I owe every month, and that doesn't actually seem to be happening. So.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. So debriefing. Like I said, we've been off to the races with summer gigs. It's the really busy season of gigging, and I wish I had my glasses on. We've had a bunch of gigs. We had Morgan Hill. We opened their concert series. We did a wedding at the Flood Mansion. We did the Sebastopol 51st anniversary party of the Barlow, and Novato Rock the Block, not Rock the Dock.
Yeah, we did Rock the Dock earlier.
Yeah.
This year.
So just briefly, how do you think they went?
I think they all went really well. I mean, we're at this point, like the city concert, style gigs that we do, festival style gigs that we do, like we're really good at those, because we can play whatever we want. Like nobody's looking at our song list and telling us we have to play this or play that or whatever. So I kind of get to like put together like the really tight sets of all the hits and the best stuff that we do and the things that I think best represent us. And so that's really fun.
Still doesn't mean it's not hard though, because you and I will sit here and overthink one or two songs or a vibe, and it's still hard because you want to try to keep in mind the demographic and what are things that people want to hear, but what are things that we want to play. And so it's kind of still this dance that we do, I think.
Well, we're also like a lot of these places we're playing sometimes 2-3 years in a row. This is our second year doing Morgan Hill. We're about to do this week Los Altos and San Carlos. We already played San Carlos's hometown days this year. We're coming back to do their concert series. Los Altos, I don't think we did it last year, but we've done it. This will be the third year I think we've done it.
Yeah.
So part of it's too is like I don't want to be playing the same stuff every single year. I don't know how much other people care, but I personally get bored and don't want to be playing the same songs. I also think I do think it's important. People come to see these bands. People make a thing of going to these concert series because these cities every year put them on. It's something they can rely on. It's free and it's fun. It's really fun for us. Family friendly. Yeah. But I get really sensitive to like, I don't know that people are like checking our song list to be like, what did they play last year? But it's just a feeling of like, oh, I haven't heard them play that song before, or
Yeah,
that kind of stuff. So
I think there's some bands that do like one thing right, and that people are counting on seeing that all the time. I think for some bands like us, people are interested to see the new stuff that we add. We're starting to get more requests. Um, People are starting to slide into the DMs before or give suggestions. That's kind of fun. It could be a little stressful because there are some um, you and I are not people pleasers to a fault, but we do want to do right by our fans and our super fans that come. And so sometimes I know that we just try to get everything in, but then there's sometimes of having subs that we don't want to put so much work on subs if it's a
yeah,
song that we don't do all the time or that all the other bands do, and we try to lighten the load for subs. It's something that we're going to talk about too in this episode. So it's this dance of how much work do we want to put into it. If it's a long weekend like we had a couple weeks ago where we had 3 gigs in a row, we learned so many songs for the wedding. Do we also want to learn songs for the days that we can kind of rest on our heels a little bit?
yeah.
Because we had like 6 or 7 new songs at the wedding.
It was a lot. It was a lot. I mean, part of it is
there's a lot of deer in the headlight.
Well, I mean, part of it is that like there's some songs on our song list that one of us has done before, but maybe we haven't done as a band. But it's on our song list because we could do it.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that we've done it as a band. And so sometimes you get weddings where they have a very specific song list, and they do have some requests, things that we haven't done before, but then they're also asking for things that are on our song list. And so we got to come through. And this was one of those where it was like, yeah, like six or 7 songs we hadn't done before.
Yeah.
The band killed.
I always feel like the weakest link on those.
It takes a long time as a singer to get comfortable. Like, at least for me, I mean, I know I'm not a lead singer by trade. I'm a background singer and a drummer. But I find it takes me X amount of performances to feel comfortable, like singing and performing a song, because there's a difference between like learning it or even just singing it around the house versus like getting out on a stage and actually performing it to people. Like, I don't know how many times we've done I Just Might by Bruno Mars, which is his new song. But I'm only now starting to really feel like I got my arms around it and that I have like a bit of a like approach and angle for the way that I'm going to do it. Right. Cause I'm not a virtuosic singer in the way that some others are. And so a song like that, like I'm not going to approach it the same way. But it's taken me X amount of times now of performing that song to get to where I feel, like, yeah, I got this. Like, right. I feel good going into it. I know what I'm doing.
Well, because if you're one of the musicians, you get to kind of hide behind your instrument.
Yeah.
And the way our band is set up, it's you and I are the front people. Brian is kind of up in the front with us as well, and he's free to front as he can. But everybody can kind of be tucked in behind their instrument and just concentrate on that. We have to be singing the right notes and performing it and selling the song. And so but when you're not completely comfortable with the melody or the words or anything, and you have nothing to hide behind, and it's so exposed feeling, and you just feel like everybody's watching, well, because they are, but you just feel like everybody's zoned in on you and in a different way. And yeah, Saturday was kind of tough with that. Like even you on a lot of the new songs, like you get to like a lot of times you stay behind the percussion rig, and it's kind of like, that must be nice. That's good for you that you get to like, oh yeah, I'm going to sing it from back here. And it's like, I don't have anything to hide behind. So I'm the one that's like totally out there, and I try not to look like I'm reading on some of those songs, but some of them I can't help it. What were the new ones that we did? We did were new, not new, but there was Murder on the Dance Floor.
Yeah.
Unwritten, which we've done a couple times, and that's when I psych myself out on. So it's all on me. For some reason, the words also don't want to stick in my head as much as I've done it. But I felt the best time I've ever sung that song. And what were other ones I did? Oh, the Olivia Dean one, Be the Man That I Need. Be the man that I need, baby. I really like that one. We I love what I love about this band is we can do groovy pocket songs where not everything has to be a fast song, and we can like sit in kind of these low, it's not a slow song, but it's definitely not fast. And
Yeah.
so that one's a fun one to do. Someone's picking up something, I think. But going back to Morgan Hill, and then because I want to come back to the wedding. Morgan Hill is a weird gig because we have an opening band. They hire an opening band, and it's weird because, and people can tell me if they've had different experiences with doing the Morgan Hill show, but opening band usually is not as high a caliber of band. It just isn't. And but you get there, usually they're there before you, even though they're not sound checking or setting up before you are. And there always feels like there's a little chip on their shoulder. And this time, I'm not going to mention the band, but I was over like making sure I was friendly and inviting and like having no part of it. It wasn't until after we all performed, because some of them stayed for the show, and I made sure that I gave them a shout out. Oh, that's one thing, people. If you're in a band, shout out the bands that are playing on the stage with you and are played before you. It's just a very nice thing to do, no matter what has happened. It's just a nice thing. I think that's just something that everybody should get in the habit of doing, is shouting out the band before, shouting out the band that's coming up after. Um, and some of them stayed, and you could tell they were having a great time. They were on the dance floor and stuff like that. But it is a weird spot to be in because you feel like they're mad at you for being the headlining band. It's like we're all playing the same stage. Oh, also, and the other thing is a good rule of thumb, which Neon Velvet was really good about, is check in with the bands that are playing. We don't have a monopoly on the set list, but it is nice to not play the same songs that the other band is going to be playing. Like it's just a kind of like unspoken rule, I think.
Especially if you're the opening band. Yeah, I would think that you would, I mean, we didn't have their contact information, so I mean, the thing with Morgan Hill is that in general the sound check timeline is very tight, and that kind of rolls downhill to the opening band. This year we showed up early last year too, but we really showed up early this year, and the sound crew accommodated that, which is great. And it's D&V sound, I think, our buddy Vern. And they accommodated an earlier sound check for us, because that was always the thing. It was like your sound checks from 4:30 to 5, and then the opening band sets up and sound checks, and then like they go on at like 6:30 or something like that, or 6. And it's just it's way too tight, when we've done a few over the last few years, and a few this year, where it's like, oh yeah, there's a 30-minute, including the Neon Velvet one, the Walnut Creek Art and Wine. There's a 30-minute changeover, and that's not realistic. Like, you can change the band over in 30 minutes, but to have it like a thorough sound check, or have a thorough get monitors dialed, that kind of stuff.
Sound check. Ha.
Well, and for us, I think like we've done a lot of these shows now over the years. It's really important to me. People come out. It's where we get the most engagement post gig. We don't get a lot of engagement or a lot of like inquiries or anything coming in when we play bars and clubs. That's just reality. Sort of why I'm not like always super aggressive about booking us into clubs and bars, because it pays lower, the hours are later, and we don't see a lot of like post gig benefit from doing the shows. However, these city concerts are the complete opposite of that, where the money's better, the hours are much earlier, and we tend to see a lot of post gig engagement. So knowing that, and sometimes we have potential clients coming to check us out. I get really, really like particular about our sound and making sure that we all feel comfortable, and making sure that like front of house has what they need to to mix us well.
Yeah.
And if you're talking about condensing, first of all, most of these gigs, we don't have an opening band.
Right.
I'm not opposed to having an opening band, but it's like the normal sort of, schedule in these gigs is we show up 2 to 3 hours before we play, and then we have, a sound check, and we take a little break, and we come back and play. You put another band in the mix, and it's like we're backlining drums, and so we got to take all our cymbals and all this kind of stuff down so that they can use a drum set. Which
did we backline drums this time?
Yeah.
I thought I saw him.
Oh, you know what?
He
No.
set up his own drum set.
Yeah, and he was super nice about it. Actually, they were very nice to me. I don't know what your problem was, but yeah, no, their drummer actually set his own kit up. He was a lefty, I think, is also part of it.
I think people assume that I'm not nice.
Well, we're giving them that impression.
What does that mean? I mean, I do think that people are always. I find, and maybe I will take responsibility or accountability. That's me. I always find that people are genuinely surprised by my friendliness. Like they don't expect it, which means something about other singers, people, because if people are assuming that I'm not nice, what are you other singers out there doing that's making people have that impression? Because I'm never not nice. You have to give me a reason to be not nice. I usually always give the benefit of the doubt.
I think so.
I can go to classy with a K pretty fast, but you have to give me a reason for that.
Fair enough.
Like, for instance, so that was Morgan Hill. Then we had this wedding the next day. So we go from Morgan Hill, really fun, felt like rock stars, huge stage, lots of room. It's so fun. We had a great crowd. We had an encore, everything like that. And then we go to this wedding where we have this much space, and I'm like me, holding for you listener at home that's not watching, this much space, and definitely feel like the bride and groom obviously were happy to have us, but you feel like we're just the afterthought, and it's like gonna be a stretch till we get there. They were running a little behind. Actually, they were running quite a bit behind, 25-30 minutes behind. It was a long day of waiting around, and we start performing, and this has been a thing lately at weddings, is these people stepped up right in front of me and turned their backs to me for songs, multiple songs, and like literally inches from my face, and the point where I'm turning around going like, okay, and trying not to get mad, because again, I'm just like, well, I'm here doing my job. I'm still performing as best I can with someone standing 2 inches away from me. And it wasn't even like they were dancing and wanting to just be in my space, back to me, facing out to the dance floor, but like no self-awareness or spatial awareness that I'm there singing. We weren't on a stage. So there was that thing. But the one thing I wanted to mention is something I haven't heard anybody talking about. This should be a yarn on the green room. People coming up and looking at your set list. I feel like that was the thing that happened across the board this past couple of weeks, of people coming up and wanting to look at my set list, or and like pick them up or look at it and everything like that. I get so mad about that. It makes me I see red. I don't know what it is. I immediately I don't react. No one will know this from off stage. Usually if I see you do that, I'll make a joke of it and I'll put my foot on it and slide it over and kind of like, haha, make a little like joke. But inside, I am like the little Tasmanian devil.
Yeah. I'm a Nara on that. partly, I mean, a lot of why is that, like, I put a lot of time into every set list, and I approach it as much as I can, like from the perspective of a DJ. I mean, we're limited by, I can't mix out of a song if people aren't digging it, or like that kind of stuff. But like part of the charm of what we do, I think, and part of the like fun of what we do is like the way we string songs together, and so if you know what's coming, like when I go see bands that I pay tickets, that I buy tickets to go see in a venue or whatever, I don't want to know what the set list is. Like I want to be experiencing that in the moment.
Oh, like, I think you're giving them way too much credit. I don't even see it as like they're looking at the set list of what's coming. I think they're looking at it as like, am I going to like these songs?
Well,
What
yeah.
songs are they playing? And you're going even way more advanced for these folks. I think it's more that I take it as like judging to see if like, oh, are they playing anything that we want to hear
Yeah,
all night?
I find it funny because um we don't really take requests. I mean, unless the bride and groom or the parents of the bride or groom or whoever's paying for the wedding, um or like you said, some of our like close friends, you know, people that come see us a lot, you know, if they have a request or something, I will try to honor it because they're invested in us. But like if you walk up and just like ask for a song, the answer is going to be no, if I even acknowledge you in the first place. Um, and
Yeah, don't talk to singers when they're singing,
I mean,
actively singing.
like it just to me, it's like, okay, well, I put time into this set list, and like you, this single person coming up and saying like, I want to hear this song, or you should play this song, or whatever. It's like, cool. I don't know who you are or what your musical taste is or what your qualifications are. Like, if we're playing a city concert or something like that, like I've already weighed out the time of the sets. I've weighed out the distribution of labor between all of us. I've weighed out what the band plays well. I've weighed out how things will balance over the whole night as far as like how many songs we're gonna play for what demographic and all that kind of stuff. If we're playing a wedding or any other kind of private event, like generally speaking, whoever's hired us has weighed in on the song list.
Yeah.
So, you know, I, I'm not going to like change what we're playing because you want us to play something. Um, and yeah, well, and what I find too, the reason I really don't like it is I find, even though I don't want to have this reaction, I find that I get self-conscious when people do that, because then I see them do that and then I gauge their reaction and I gauge whether they go talk to somebody
Yeah.
else and then what their reaction is. Um, when, especially at weddings, oftentimes like I'm going off of song preferences that the client's given us. So it's
Yeah.
not like a personal indictment on me or my band, but like I find I have that reaction anyway. And then I get resentful that I'm having that reaction. And so,
See, you're causing so
yeah.
many emotions and distractions when you
Also,
don't need to be.
it's also like, it's the same as like DJs. I know DJs don't like taking requests.
Yeah.
Most of them do not like taking requests. And I don't blame them because they got a way they're doing things, and they got an approach
They got to flow.
to their craft and everything. And you coming up and request, like, especially because once one person comes up and requests something, then the floodgates open and everybody. Then it becomes like the jukebox.
Yep.
And like I know DJs don't love that, and bands. It's like, you know, there's a reason why if you go to Nashville or other places where there's a lot of house bands playing all over town, you want to request a song, you got to put some money in the tip jar.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we don't do that because that's not really our style, but
Right.
like, which we could, that'd be an easier way to make some money. But yeah, it's also part of me like this, just like wanting people to just like relax and be present and enjoy the party that they're at or enjoy the concert that they're at or whatever. And I feel like if you're doing that and you're looking at the set list and you're like, you're not in the moment.
Yeah.
Like, just go get a drink and hang out with your friends and let us do what we do, because we know what we're doing. So
Yeah.
generally,
It was a pretty good wedding. It wasn't, it was a little difficult in that, like I said, the attitude. One guy came up and hung on to me and hugged me for what felt like a minute. It was long.
yeah, longer than I would have liked.
Yeah. And the thing with that too is you put, did I feel in danger this time? No. Had I felt in danger, I would have taken care of myself. He was drunk. Um, I thought if I push him back or if someone does anything that might cause an issue, in that it was steadier for me to take the hug than to push him off. These are other things that I shouldn't have to worry about or think about actively singing. I was actively singing, and this guy just comes and lands on me and is hugging me and holding me, and I could feel all my band bristle up. I can see Frank looking at me with his, eyebrows up, and everybody looking for the sign. Um, I couldn't see you the way I was, but I know that you're always watching. I knew Brian had to be like, what the is going on. And then he eventually sauntered off. But it's like, again, like, why must anybody feel the need to do that? Like, I hear all these stories all the time of from Subes and Bray of the things like, people just be conscientious to someone that's doing their job. And like, you wouldn't like someone doing that to you if you're sitting at your computer or on a Zoom call or anything like that, but yet you feel it's okay to do to me, who in that moment is a wedding vendor and has been there all day and just trying to do my job and do it well. And to have something like that, I had that happen. I thought it would be cute for me to go do the limbo when everybody was doing the limbo. And I'm glad to say I'm okay now. But I did the limbo in heels and this really too tight dress, and immediately felt the snap in my back, and my arms and hands went totally numb. And I was like, that's it. I like totally threw my back doing the freaking limbo during a set. I have got to get back to like being in shape and getting back to the gym, which I still haven't done. So that was the wedding. And like I said, we did so many new songs. Oh, you did a lot of new ones for us. Not new again. You did Friday I'm in Love. You did what was the other one? That's the cool one.
Sugar We're Going Down by the Fallout Boy. By Fallout Boy. I did all these things. I've done The Killers.
So they were so good. And good thing, because we got a request to do a lot of those songs again this weekend. So
it's funny how they come in batches.
Luckily, it was not for nothing, and we're going to try to keep some of these in the public shows going forward. I'm not staying on my timeline at all. Then we did Novato Rock the Block, which was super fun.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Novato. Thank you, Rob. Thank you. I just got to look at the photos. We had a professional photographer that was out there who took drone photos and footage and was up on stage and all up in our business. I loved it. We looked so good. His handle is I'll be right back. Where did I put his card?
We are super prepared.
Talk about Rock the Block.
I'll say this about Novato. Novato is a city that shows up to stuff like this, because I've played over the years.
It's around here somewhere.
Trying to think of where I put it.
It's prismatic photography. Prismatic photography. I'll put it in the caption.
Yeah. No, over the years I've done Novato Art and Wine quite a bit. And then I haven't done the Novato, like the amphitheater show or whatever, but now Rock the Block, and people show up and they have a great time. And Novato is such a cute little town. I love playing up there.
I'm going to live there. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
It might be.
It was a great show. They took such great care of us. We had a really great green room. We had just people were really kind and thoughtful.
Well, it's put on by a guy. His name's Rob Sundberg. He's a very nice gentleman, but he's a musician, and so I find when events are put on by musicians, like we are thought about and cared for a little bit more than other places, just because he's like, you know what, I know what I would like to have in the green room, and I know what I would like to have for stage and all all that kind of stuff, and so.
It was great. And this man's right here debuted it was our maiden voyage of our in-ear monitor split that Kyle has been slaving over and building the last couple weeks. So that was really special. And we can all give a round of applause to Kyle Caprista for hooking us up and taking care of us. And,
it goes that, I mean, I guess, why would you build an in-ear split when you have sound crews, because we have to have our sound crew, which they carry their own in-ear rig that we get to, use every gig, which is super it spoils us. And then, like we're doing, like I said, this week we're doing Los Altos and we're doing San Carlos, and it's going to be Thor audio on both of those shows. And we work with them a lot, and they take great care of us. So like, why would you build an in-ear split And the reality is just once you've gotten used to running your own ears, in ears, your own monitors or whatever, um, you just get spoiled, and there's a consistency that comes along with that you miss when you go. Even working with a sound company like Thor that does a great job and has worked with us a lot and takes care of us, you're still kind of like starting from zero every gig, having to build a monitor mix. That's also like coming into conflict with what they need to do for front of house, because um, both of these things take time. You got to like get gain stage everything, and it just takes time. And if you have your own in-ear split, you have your own in-ear system, you can bypass all that because it basically splits the audio out, to them and to us, and whatever we do in our ears doesn't affect what they're doing in front of house, and vice versa. So it means that because we pretty consistently have the same musicians or a collection of the same musicians, we can go into these gigs now and just be like, cool, we're like, plop our thing down, get everything plugged in, and like, we're self-sufficient over here. You don't have to worry about monitors. You just do your front of house thing.
And we're not starting from scratch.
Not starting from scratch. Everybody can log on and run their own in-ear mix, which takes a lot of the stress out, because now you don't have musicians lined up asking for,
or
things.
Doing a sound check from scratch and a kick drum, snare, doing all that. Like, we already can, even if you don't have, maybe say everything zeroed out, even if you're all individually logged in and you can do your own faders and get a pretty like rough idea, and then make tweaks as we go and everything. So it's just, I know the band is over the moon, and we love you for it, and I love you for it, and I appreciate it, and I am so happy that we have most of our living room somewhat back. It was just boxes and cases and everything, and just seeing you over here tinkering till all hours of the night and labeling things and everything. So we appreciate you.
I still got to do labeling.
That's a good segue into what you're talking about, subbing and in-ear mixes and everything. So this past weekend, we had a rare cancellation. Although I can't say it's been very rare. It feels like it's been kind of the name of the game this year. There's been lots of weird cancellations for all different reasons.
That's why we collect deposits.
Yes. Deposits are something that we do upon contract signing. And it has saved us a lot of times. We learn all the time. Sometimes I want to tweak it even more. Right now we collect a 50% deposit upon signing of the contract, and then we get our remaining balance the week of the event, maybe even up till the day of. Every gig is a little different because of their pay structure. If it's a corporate event, if it's a wedding, we try to be a little flexible. But having the 50% deposit has saved us, because we are once again counting on that money for our livelihood and to pay rent and everything. So there is a part of me that's kind of like, maybe we start asking for full payment, like 90 days out, because if this happens, this was a very short or last minute kind of cancellation. Yeah. So because we only had the one gig, we had Rock the Block, I decided to sub with the Cheese Balls. They were doing, funny enough, the same Morgan Hill gig that we opened on the Friday before. They were
Which you did this last year with Entourage.
I did the Mushroom Festival.
Oh, right. But Mushroom Festival is another big thing in Morgan Hill, another city that puts on lots of music and lots of stuff. And
really great
people show up for that out there. It's really
and that amphitheater is so flippin' fun. So I was going to sub with them, and Eric right now with the Cheese Balls, they are down a singer. He's looking for a permanent one. If there's any female singers out there that are hearing this, if you know someone who is a singer that wants to be in a working band like that and you have the experience, hit the Cheese Balls up, hit up Eric Cotton, hit me up, and I'll get you through to him as well. So he had a couple dates that he needed to fill with another singer. And I selfishly took the Friday because we were off and we didn't have the gig on Saturday. He also wanted me to sub on Saturday and Sunday, but with the cancellation and that, I felt like I could not take the gig so I could go to our kids' softball games,
Yeah.
which I'm very happy about. And I didn't, I really wanted to be there for her softball games. So it's a win-win. Maybe not so much for Eric, but for me. So I got to make up that money, and didn't get to lose out on watching Roxy. But speaking to intermixes and, having subs come in, something that we've talked a little bit before. So just also to talk about subs in general, subs are different than if you have a sub come in your band and you're a working band like we are, you have a good roster of subs. We don't just have some random person come in like, oh, you play bass, come do this gig with us. You have to be very well vetted. We have to have worked with you at some point. You have to come with good recommendations. And we're choosy about what gig you will sub on. If it's a very important, huge corporate gig and you haven't maybe played with us before, it's probably not a gig you're going to get with us right away. But we are also loyal. If you've done a couple club dates, we're going to give you a better high-end gig. You'll become our first call. We don't just do the thing of where we only sub out the quote unquote crappy gigs. Kyle and I never sub out willingly. And it's only happened once before where we've ever needed a sub. And that was years ago. And all the time we've had the band, we've only had to miss 2 gigs. Actually, you only had to miss 1. I missed 2.
Yeah.
I would rather just bring in an additional singer to get us through, unless, we're on our deathbed, we're going to be at the gig. But so that's again to differentiate that we can't always guarantee our core members are going to be at the shows. They have lives, they have other gigs. We very much encourage our band members to play other gigs. We don't want anybody to burn out. We want people to be inspired. We want people to enjoy their craft and what they do. And you got into music for a reason.
Yeah.
And if you want to pass up a $800 gig to do a $100 gig, all the power to you. Go do that. As long as you give us enough notice, as long as the subs that we like are available, it's great. In fact, on our gig at Morgan Hill, we had a sub.
Yeah.
We had Robert Rojas, which shout out to the Rojas brothers. Amazing pro, probably one of the best bass subs we've ever had.
Yeah.
And going to this whole sub thing, I thought we had a good system for preparing our subs for gigs, and we have a pretty good system. I think we can update our system. I think it's something that we should work on. We have a Dropbox folder where we give people, the forms and the arrangements. Kyle gives out very extensive notes. Please click the link on the notes that he gives you.
Please to click.
Please
yes.
click the link of the song versions he gives you and everything, because Kyle has all that. He has all the right versions, all the right songs, all the notes and the keys and everything like that. So if you don't click the link, that's on you. That's a poor sub habit to get into, not clicking the link or going further into the notes. But the Rojas brothers has it down. Robert has your parts as a background vocalist portioned out with playing your note. He plays your note for you, singers. He gives you the forms. He gives you the live versions. He gives you the recorded versions. Like, really does it well. I think we should at some point make sure that we're recording our live versions so that subs can play along with those. I think that would be easier. We have some subs though that take it upon themselves. They've found our versions online on YouTube. And shout out to Matt Germano, drummer, that has gone and studied our versions online. Yeah. And did that and took that upon himself. So all that to say is that Cheeseballs has a pretty good system. I wouldn't say it's the best, but it's pretty good. It has a Dropbox, and I have the versions for that. You have the click tracks. So I felt pretty prepared going into this gig with them, and I've subbed with them in the past. I used to sing with Cheeseballs way back in the day, fairly regularly, but it's been a while. And I just haven't worked that sub muscle that much because I don't sub. I don't get that call. We've talked about it before. So all that to say is the inner monitor system really matters, and why we are so excited for having Kyle have gone through all that he did to get us set up and everything is I had the worst experience this past weekend subbing with the cheese balls, which wasn't the cheese balls' fault.
No, but it was an example of how that timeline in Morgan Hill can really kind of sneak up on you, because and it's no shade to the cheese balls, because they showed up at the time that was listed, but we showed up an hour earlier than that. And that hour earlier allowed us to have all of the, instruments set up and all the XLRs out, like all that stuff was done, so that then we were sound checking at 4 instead of sound checking at 4:30. And that extra 30 minutes is huge. Like that's where you're fine tuning. That's where you're
I don't know that I don't know that I still would have been okay. Because I didn't hear the things in the sound check that we did have. I felt okay. Like I wouldn't have tinkered that much more. I would have thought like, okay, there's probably going to be a little things that change. I had my phone set so I could make changes throughout the set. But I was so deer in the headlights, and it's fun. I get to see Kyle out in the crowd. Although you're always in management mode. I was cracking up. Like it was really fun because when we got there, I was like, I got to run to the stage. I got to get all this stuff. And you're like, I got it. I'll bring your stuff. And I was like, oh, that's so nice. I feel like I have a roadie. It was really nice. I felt like all special and everything. Not that he doesn't do nice things for me, but it was so cute and so sweet. And I felt very cared for. But you get there and it was so funny because like everybody recognized Kyle. I mean, it's not like you can't miss us when we're showing up in our thing. And if you know us, like on here, what you're seeing is like, yeah, we'll be like this for home. But when we go out into public, we show up and show out. We make an effort. Like you're never going to see us like dressed down out and about. Like even if we're going out to the local pub or whatever, we get a little done up. So, and Kyle looked super cute. He was very handsome. He looked great. And people were recognizing him left and right. People thought it was funny that we had just been there the week before. And to us, it literally felt like it had already been like months since we'd been there.
We had played like a not insignificant number of gigs since we had been there. Like, we played 3 gigs since you were there last.
Even more or whatever. But and we had all the softball games and everything. It just felt like a lifetime already. So it was so funny. To them, they'd just seen us. To us, it was like, oh yeah, we were here just last week. Was that last week? But so it was funny because you came in and greeting everybody and making sure things are set and everybody like, oh, and you still felt like you were like management mode. Like you could have been the manager or the agent of the band. And I don't think anybody would have thought different. But to come off stage for the first set and just be just like, I was looking forward to having a good time. And one of the things that I talked with, so Peggy is the other singer, and I felt sheepish because one of the things I had talked about was how I feel, and there's something we've talked about on other episodes, is that I don't feel that people put enough care into singing backgrounds. And it was something that Maggie and I were talking about. And I was so looking forward to doing all the backgrounds and being that person and nailing everything. And to come off and Kyle was like, yeah, the mix isn't very good. You can't hear anything that the backgrounds are doing. And I was like, I am slaving so hard. I'm concentrating so hard, and yet still trying to look like I'm performing, but I'm really trying to concentrate because I want to put my money where my mouth is. To then go, okay, well, something is going to be said, and someone was saying something to sound, to come off the second set, which was the last set, and for Kyle to tell me, you, to see you struggle and to see you looking like you're having such a hard time is so hard to watch. And for him to show me, I'm even trying not to cry right now, I realize, for you to show me the clip of myself singing, and I was a good half step flat.
Which you are not usually.
No. And like, and not even like passing notes. Sure. Every now and then, especially if we're singing as much as we're doing. I mean, folks, it's a muscle. And if I've sung 4 gigs in a row, chances are I'm really tired by that 4th gig. Chances are that I'm, you know, maybe a little bit on the struggle bus. Actually, lately I've been feeling pretty strong, but I'm just going to even give myself a little grace. Passing notes every once in a while. I'm human. There might be a flat note here or there. There's things I hear and I go, you know, whatever. But I do not sing. I am not a pitchy singer. I'm a very self-aware singer. I am not a pitchy singer. I am not a pitchy singer. So for you to play that clip for me, and I was singing an entire chorus on my lead. It wasn't even the background. I was singing lead, and I was singing the entire chorus flat. I was just devastated. Like, woke him up at 2 a.m. that I was still awake because I couldn't shake how bad it was.
Oh, you're pretty hard on yourself. I mean, which you're so consistent. I mean, I feel that way when I botch something on drums. Singing, lead singing, I give myself a little bit more grace because I don't really feel like I still don't really feel like a lead singer. But and to be fair, like I know you were laughing because I was like, well, the iPhone might compress his audio, so
Yeah,
because
he was giving me this whole cock and bull story about like,
no,
well,
but
it's the iPhone. It's the iPhone.
But it wasn't though, because in the
Crowd.
in the crowd where I was standing right in front of speakers and everything. Like it wasn't that noticeable or that dramatic. I noticed it because I know how you sing and I know the song. But like, yeah, I didn't think it was that noticeable. But when I played it back for you, I was like, it's pretty noticeable, you know.
It was
But
so, and it was so, what was so, I mean, what was funny is the band had wanted to do a couple new songs, and Peggy had said, no, we haven't really done these songs enough, and people are going to be recording. And that's the thing. Like, people record this stuff, it gets posted, because I know I do this where I go like, whoa, why are they doing that song? Or why did she think she should sing that note? Or why does this person think they should, you know? So my thing was, someone's going to do to me what I've done to them, and is be judgy. And the thing is, it's like, let the record reflect. I know it didn't sound like that. Like, I could have corrected it. So it's just kind of like, really, honestly, people, the monitors will make or break you. And as great a singer as you think you are, I mean, if you're Tony Lindsay, Fred Ross, or Kenny Washington, that probably would never happen to you, or Kamiko, or Omega. Well, and the list could go on. But I mean, like, I need to be able to hear myself. I couldn't. I told you, I was like, it's so loud and just chaos in my ears that I can't hear anything. And I was using my ear monitors more as earplugs at a certain point because it was just so just all over the place. And it was just deer in the headlights the entire time. So I was super bummed. And
well, but if it makes you feel any better, that's not how it was for the majority of the night. So, you know, it's one song. And to be fair to you, I think also like it's a song that the Cheeseballs do like
way too fast.
Well, I mean, that's a matter of opinion. I think it's too fast, but
way too
that's
fast.
the way that's the tempo they play the song at. So there's a lot of words. There's a lot to it. Like it's a hard song to sing at that tempo, I think.
It's way too fast.
So
I'm a sub. So I don't say anything. I don't feel I can say anything. I wasn't originally even going to do that song. It got switched last minute. And the song is Cheap Thrills by Sia.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you pronounce that.
And I wasn't originally going to, I only sang 4 leads, I think, all night, which is fine. As a sub, I'm happy to come in and just do whatever. it's a very different thing being the sub of another person's band. And I kind of find myself in this weird spot sometimes. Like, I don't feel like I'm cheating on Mercy or the band, but it is kind of like I'm not fronting somebody else's band. Like, I'm a front person
Right.
and I'm leading, but it is a weird space to be because like I didn't talk to the crowd and I just leave everything like to them, all the dance moves that I remember, like, and I remembered quite a bit. I was like,
Yeah, actually, I was laughing because you and Eric fell into some things that I was like, oh, that's really cool. So yeah, I mean, I know Eric probably got a kick out of having you because you can do that stuff, you know.
I fall in step, like, I don't miss much as far as dance moves. Eric and I have always had a good collaboration in that regard. Like, there were new songs I've never done with him, but I saw him do something and I'm like, okay, I know where this is going and I know how to follow. And I could do it without looking like I'm following.
Right.
Um, but
I can't do that in case you were curious. That's not how it works for me.
But all that to say is like sometimes you're like it's what I've been trying to teach our kiddo with softball is that you can have a great practice, you can feel very confident going in and something can come up and rattle you, but what do you need to do? What do you got to do to be resilient and come back? Luckily, I don't know what would have happened if you would have played that for me had like in the first set going into the second
I would
set.
not have done that.
But say like I would have heard it.
Okay.
Say I would have heard it. I don't know because I'm getting good at, and not always, but I'm getting good at if I mess something up, I don't stay
I
in
would have
it.
said something to you if you were consistently flat or consistently sharp or something like that. I would have said something to you to be like, I don't know if you can hear or if your voice is tired, but like you got to fix something or compensate. That was just like the one thing, the one part of the set, that one song that I was like, there's something, it's the tempo or something you're hearing or not hearing in your ears. And it's kind of it's a minor key. It's a lot of like,
It's a hard song to sing even at tempo.
it's, I went because I don't know how to. It's like a, it's a certain scale. I should have taken music theory. I just played drums, but it's a certain scale. So it's like it's it's a tricky song if you're not, you know what I mean? Like I think you can get, and it's exposed at certain points, and then it's not. I don't know. There's just a lot going on. I mean, I'm not trying to make excuses for you. And it
No,
wasn't that
no.
bad.
And
It
the
wasn't
thing
that
is, you'll
bad,
tell
but
me. And the thing is, what
we
I
hope.
do enjoy, I'm better at it than you are. I'm still trying to get better at the delivery, but like I can take feedback. Like anybody can give me feedback. Anybody can tell me about like singing. Nobody will. You're the only one. I can't
Well,
remember what it was that you told me. Oh, you told me on Borderline lately. You told me the last time that I sang it, you thought I was pitchy. And you said you're more comfortable with that song now. You need to watch yourself. What did I do? I took the note and I was like, really? Okay, well, which parts? And do you think so? And like the next time, and you were laughing because you're like, well, maybe I don't know, maybe I was hearing things wrong because then I was like, I sang that song so good tonight, right? I was like, tell me I did good. Tell me I did good. Um, because I will take it to heart. I do take feedback. I welcome feedback. I am not someone that you can't give notes to. Um, you get a little bit more defensive. And I know it's because you're not as confident as a front lead singer. But sometimes when I try to tell you, like, you got a little pitchy on this one part, well, that's because I couldn't hear myself and I didn't like this part and I didn't like the, whatever. And I'm like, okay, we'll come back to that. I just need to let him marinate in that and then he'll figure it out.
well, I mean, but I heard it. I mean, rock the block, rock the dock. We've rocked a block and a dock this year. Rock the dock.
You heard it with I Just Might.
Yeah, I felt like I had a pretty good gig overall. Although my voice is really tired around that time, I wasn't taking great care of it.
The wind was horrible.
And that wind, yeah, we were fighting an uphill battle. I felt pretty good about it, and I heard other recordings of other songs. I'm like, yeah, that matches what I experienced on stage. It's generally to the quality that I thought it was. But I heard I Just Might, and I was like, oh, that there are some notes I'm not quite getting. And to be fair, that song is extremely high. It's been kicking my butt, but I'm still like, I walked away from that gig being like, that was pretty good. And then heard that, and I'm like, that's like 3.5 minutes of me being just like, not all of it was bad, but
No.
like, there's some notes that are held out in that song, and it's like, if you're a little pitchy on them, they're same thing with Borderline. Like Borderline, there's notes that are held out that if you're a little pitchy, it's like it's gonna hang out there.
Yeah, it is.
So anyway, it's not fun to hear yourself back and be like, ooh, that was not great.
No, I
but
was pretty devastated. I wasn't too happy with that. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to get a chance to redeem myself. That was the thing too. Remember, I kept saying, I don't even get a second chance at this. I didn't take the gig on Sunday to do a better job. And maybe I would be set up for success better or whatever.
Part of it's also that like we carry a high standard for ourselves, which is great. And we care a lot about it's like one of the most important things to me is like how my band is perceived and the reputation that we have and everything. And so then you end up like, if you do something on another gig, you feel like it reflects on you, on your band and on your brand and everything. And it's like, I guess it's partially true, but it's like, it's heaping an additional like responsibility or expectation on that's,
Yeah, I take pride in my abilities. And so when it's like, I couldn't even hear it, and it just bugs me. I even took my ear out one time because I was like, and I don't do that. I never have to do that on our own gigs.
Yeah.
If I do it, something's wrong or bad. But it's like a really bad habit, and I refuse to do that. Yeah, that was hard. So singers out there, do you hear yourself when you're pitchy? Be honest. Be honest with yourself. Do you? Are you able to take notes? Are you able to correct them? We are taking questions. If you guys want, you can send us messages at Mercy and the Manz podcast on Instagram. You can slide into our DMs there. Someone asked us a question this past week, and they asked basically, how do we balance it, being together all the time, singing and living life together and performing, and how is that? How do we get back to like, how do we regroup and reset?
Sometimes we don't. I don't know. I mean, having the kiddo, I think helps a little bit because we sort of come back to this other thing.
Kind of come back to the family home base.
Yeah, it's a different responsibility and a different, like she does come to our gigs sometimes, but mostly she's separate from them, and she cares about like how our careers are going. Like she cares about us, but she doesn't we don't debrief our gigs with her. Mm-hmm. So like when we come back off a weekend and she's back with us, it's just a different thing. We have different things happening, which is a blessing and a curse sometimes because we want to be doing more things. We have projects in the pipeline that we're trying to get out, and we want to overhaul the Mercy website. Like there's just things that hang out on our to-do list that, if we didn't have a kid, we would just be like, cool. Like now we have all week to work on this stuff before we go into the next set of gigs or whatever. But, I wouldn't trade rocks for any of that, but I think that helps.
I like what you said though, is like, sometimes we don't, because it's not like, it's not perfect. And it's not always like, this is work time. This is personal time. This is intimate time. This is, it just doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
You have to be mindful, and you can't just expect that everything's going to happen spontaneously. And that means, we be a little better about like designating work time during the day, but it's like, we're fielding emails at all times of the day.
Yeah.
I try to be a little bit better and mindful about because we are tethered to our phones, and it like drives me insane. But like, we're constantly getting emails and texts and taking inquiries, and we want to be that first person on that email, when they send an inquiry or whatever, or they ask a question. But there is a part of me that's like, everybody else is allowed to put their phones down at 5 p.m.
Yeah.
That part's hard. I think we could do a better job about that. We watch a lot of TV together. Yeah. That's kind of our like downtime at night. What's hard is with Roxy being off of school though, her bedtime is pushed back, and we
Yeah.
have a pretty small space, and we have one TV, and so we're always like, go to bed so we can, like, anybody else would be like, go to bed so we could have sexy time, and we're like, go to bed so we can watch Hacks.
Well, I mean, it's both things can be true. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you and I get along really well. I don't generally feel like smothered or cramped or anything, and we have a lot of variety in our lives. Like we go out and do social stuff, and
We went out dancing. We went out dancing on Saturday because of the cancellation for my prima's birthday, and it was so fun. And he came out and danced with me in the crowd.
Didn't do that.
Came out on the dance floor. He didn't know any of the music. It was really cute.
No, and I only have a few dance moves, but I keep it tight. I keep it simple.
Yeah.
I don't expose myself too much. You understand?
Oh, it was great. It was great.
Well, but also, like I go to the, I haven't been good the last week and a half, but I'm going to go after this. But I go to the gym, and that's something that I just go do
without me.
Not necessarily. I would go to the gym with you, but I mean, for me, it isn't. I just go there and I do my thing, and then I come back. But it's just, it gets me out of the house, and it gets me, because we have such a small space. I mean, what we're fighting a lot of times. I mean, the one single biggest upgrade in this house or in our living situation that I would love is to have a third room that could be an office / music studio, because everything does sort of bleed together, where it's like, our computer area is kind of attached to and next to our kitchen, which is attached next to the living room. Like the bedrooms are separate, but they're not big enough to be like dual use spaces. So I have to be careful sometimes. And I think that is the biggest growing edge for me right now is as we get busier, and as we like roll more projects out, and as we try to figure out what like the next phase of our business and lives looks like in that respect. I do think it's like I have to figure out a way to like schedule myself more, and to stick to it, because my ADHD having ass doesn't, like, it's like, oh, it says 9, but it could be 9:30, or like what, I'm just like, I'm not great about that, but
neither am I.
I think it would be a nice thing at some point to be able to say like, yeah, I'm going to work for 2 hours and I'm going to go to the gym, and then I'll work for 2 hours and then that's it. Like nobody said I have to be putting in 8 hours a day of work, sometimes you have to, but our work is also then going and doing the events that we have a weird career in that respect. And I think it is a lot different. I still have a lot of friends that are just session musicians or just members of a band or whatever, and they aren't doing the business side of things, or they're only handling their business. And it is a lot different, because they're like, well, I got to learn these songs, or I got to go to this rehearsal or whatever. And I'm like, cool, I also have to do all that stuff, but I'm also fielding all the emails and doing the contracts and doing the set lists and like, pitching clients and there's all this extra stuff that we do before we ever set foot on a gig. And it's very hard sometimes, I think, to corral that into something that doesn't bleed out into the rest of our lives.
It's like what I've talked about sometimes when people say, when you have kids, go out and have dates and don't talk about the kids. And it's like, for us, are we able to go out and have a date and not talk about gigs?
Or a kid. I mean, that's the thing. Is like,
all we end up talking about, like it turns into like work meetings sometimes. And I'm like, oh my God, I tried not to go here, but
yeah, well, it's just the way it goes.
It's fine. Yeah. It's fine. I also don't think we have to do a soundtrack story, but anyway, send more questions to us at Mercy and the Manz podcast on Instagram. Pick a card.
Any card.
This is soundtrack stories.
Did we already do this one? I feel like we did that one. Maybe.
I gotta start pulling the ones that
yeah. I have to get through the whole deck,
This is a soundtrack stories card deck that our friend Nicole White put together.
Okay, here's one. I don't think we've done this one before.
Okay.
You're heading off on a long road trip. What's your vibe in the car?
No, we did do that one.
Did we do that one?
Well, we did what was because we said classic rock.
Oh, okay. Well, pull another one then.
Third time's the charm.
Or you pull one. Okay. Did we do this one? Is there a song that reminds you of a crush or first love?
Yes, we did do that one.
Did we do this one? Jeez Louise.
Okay.
Let me shuffle this gosh darn deck.
I'm
Okay. When you feel overwhelmed or untethered, what music brings you back to yourself?
So I made a playlist for my dad when he passed. I gathered all his favorite music. And so it's predominantly mariachi music. Specifically Juan Gabriel usually, or old school, like Lola Beltran, Yolanda del Rio. That's that Vicente Fernandez. That's the stuff that kind of like I feel brings me back to like, oh, okay, I'm myself again. Like it revives me. It kind of like resets me. So I would say like that playlist, mariachi music.
Yeah, that's a good answer. I think for me it is the kind of classic rock, like FM, like 80s, 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s, maybe early 90s, but just kind of like FM radio stuff I grew up on. I don't do this enough. Like, I am more productive when I have music playing, assuming I'm not putting together a set list, because there can be no music playing if I'm putting together a set list, because my brain cannot split its thought process that way. But I found, like, maybe a couple weeks ago, I was kind of like, man, the to-do list is out of control. I got to get some stuff done. I just started putting on records. We have a little record player speaker set up over around the corner. And I put on, the Rolling Stones, and I put on Tom Petty, I put on Huey Lewis, and it just like, just sort of grounded me. Because that stuff's just in my DNA from, I know they're talking about road trips. That's the stuff that was playing in our house. And that's the stuff that was playing when we would drive to go camping or drive to go wherever, they had, back then, they would they would make tapes off of the records until like CDs changed or whatever. Because my parents were like, when I have the records, I'm not going to buy the cassette. Or then when they got CDs, maybe they didn't have a CD player in the car, so they would use, anyway. Point is, like, we had all these tapes of like Tom Petty and REM and Huey Lewis and all that just kind of stuff, and that's the stuff that was playing. And so that's the stuff that like kind of roots me to like back to who I am.
I think it's what it does is it takes you back to a simpler place in time where you didn't have the responsibilities. You were like more carefree. You were like, what I'm hearing is it's stuff that was more like on when we were kids. And so like just where you didn't have a care in the world besides, who you're going to play with that day, or if you're going to get to your destination, when were you going to get to the campgrounds and see your friends?
Yeah.
So it's like that thing of just kind of like,
well, there's also, there's lots of other there's lots of other music that I listen to that evoke certain emotions, but it wouldn't necessarily tether me or bring me back to one, so to speak, to use a dance term that I don't actually use. Because if I was going to listen to like grunge or like heavier rock, that's like what I listen to at like the gym, or that's what I listen to sometimes when I'm driving or something, to just kind of gets me like forward, And country western, you and I listen to that a lot together. But if I'm listening to that, it's that puts me in a certain feeling and mindset, like hip hop and reggae, that kind of stuff. That puts me in a certain. But those are different emotions or different sort of headspaces than just kind of being like, neutral, I guess, maybe.
I love it. So anyway, send your questions to Mercy and the Manz podcast on Instagram. I might have said that already. We will answer your questions. And if there's anything you want to know about the music scene, about bands, all that stuff, we're here to talk about them. We love talking, as you can see. I was going to keep this to a very, very tight hour, and we're 10 minutes over.
Yeah, 10 minutes is nothing for us.
We could do this all day, except I got to go pick up my kid from choir camp.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll see you next time.
Toodles. Love you.
You said that you found me, but you know that it was I found